use an element argument to prove the statement that for all sets A and B, if A is contained in B, then A union B equals B. So this is the one we need to prove. And notice that B is a set. A is also a set. So A union B is a set. The left-hand side is a set. The right-hand side is also a set. So to do this type of question, we must memorize the definitions of sets. For example, what do we mean by saying two sets are equal? It means all the elements in A must be, all the elements in X must be in Y, and also all the elements in Y must be in X. So that's why we have two steps that we have to prove. And if all the elements of X are also in Y, that is called a subset. And similarly, if all the elements of Y is in X, that's also called a subset. So you also have to memorize the definition of a subset. What's the definition of subset? Which is translated into English is every element in X is in Y. And when Y is a subset of X, that means every element of Y, every element in Y is also in X. So that's why I'll approach step 1 and step 2. So let's call this step 1 and call that step 2. And so go back to the question we have here. Which two sets we need to prove that are equal? A union B, that's sort of like our X. So this is X. B is like our Y. So we need to prove they're equal. So from the definition that I just went over, you will have to show every element of A union B is in B. And also, you will also have to show every element of B is also in A union B. So that's why I have these two steps here. Okay, so how do we show A union B is in B? We do use the definition. So let me just put this in English sentence. Every element in A union B is in B. That's what we need to prove. And how do we write down every element? Element, we call it X. Every, we use for any. That's the symbol we learned before. In is belong to A union B. So that's what we start with. So that's given. And then what do we need to prove? This is what we need to prove. We need to prove this element X is also in B. So you will have to write down the logic reasoning, the steps to explain why. So the last step you will say, so X is in B. But you're going to use what's given to show that. And how do you show that? Again, you need to know the definition of union. So memorize the definition of union. This pretty much means or. And then also there's another condition given. This is an extra condition given. So you might also need to use that. Subset means every element of A is in B. You can draw the graphs to Venn diagram to help you if you need. And so it's pretty much like this is A, is contained in B, and you need to show the union of A and B is the same as B. So it pretty much says if you pick an element from the union, it must be in B. Step 2 will be similar. So we want to show every element, subset means every element in B is also in A union B. So what's given? Given an element in B. Every, for any element, let's use X, in, the symbol for in, B. So that's given. And then we gonna try to fill in the proofs here, steps here. And last sentence should be, so X is also in A union B. And how do you go from here to here? How do you prove that? Again, you will have to use the definition of union. And also, you may need to use this extra condition here. sub A is a subset so of B, which means every element of A is also in B.